Senator Maria Cantwell of Washington, one of the members of the Senate Commerce Committee. Today, a hearing on rising oil prices. Witnesses today include George Soros, who is at the witness table on the far left. He'll talk about the potential impact of recent speculation in energy markets. Daniel Inouye of Hawaii chairs the committee. It's set to get underway shortly. Mr. Soros, in an interview with the Daily Telegraph in London, said speculators are largely responsible for driving crude prices to their peaks in recent weeks, and the record oil price now looks like a bubble, he said. His investors' comments came only days after oil price soared to a record high of $135 a barrel.
Good morning. I would like to welcome everyone to today's hearing on energy market manipulation and thank our distinguished witnesses for being here today. George Soros, chairman of Soros Fund Management, Professor Michael Greenberger, University of Maryland School of Law, Gary Ram, president of Inland Oil, on behalf of the Petroleum Marketers Association of America, Leanne Watson, Deputy Director of Division of Investigation Enforcement for the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, and Mark Cooper, Director of Research and Consumer Federation of America. We are here today to examine whether today's record high oil and petroleum prices can be explained or predicted by normal market dynamics of supply and demand fundamentals, what connection exists between financial markets, and particularly the futures market, and the price at the pump that consumers are paying today, how the Federal Trade Commission's advance notice of proposed rulemaking can lead to more meaningful consumer protection, what the Federal Trade Commission's consideration should be in the area of manipulation, and what lessons the FTC can learn from other federal agencies whose oversight of electricity and natural gas markets have uncovered manipulation in those markets. In short, we are here today to make sure that federal agencies are doing their job in protecting consumers and policing the oil markets. Why is this such a concern? Well, one reason is that we've seen more than a doubling of oil prices from $60 to $135 a barrel in just over 2 years, and that is without a major supply disruption. We also have seen manipulation of energy prices in other markets. Enron and others manipulated the Western electricity markets in 2000 and 2001, and it consumers $40 billion. In light of that, Congress gave the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission new authority in the Energy Act of 2005. Specifically, Congress made it unlawful for any person to use or employ any manipulative or deceptive devices or contrivances in connection with the wholesale electricity and natural gas markets. We are here today to hear from the FERC's Deputy Director of Investigation Enforcement on how FERC used its new authority to root out manipulation in the physical electricity and natural gas markets. To date, FERC has used its new authority to conduct 64 investigations, resulting in 14 settlements totaling over $48 million in civil penalties. And we have seen the very same traders move from Enron to Amaranth. And American families and businesses have the same concerns that the potential of those same types of practices actually occurring in the oil markets. In December of 2007, Congress granted the Federal Trade Commission anti-manipulation authority in that year's energy bill. Specifically, it said that it is unlawful for any person to use or employ any manipulative or device or contrivance in conjunction with the purchase or sale of crude oil, gasoline, or petroleum distillates at the wholesale. These are two laws that have been based on the Security and Exchange Act of 1934. Congress did this to provide the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission and the Federal Trade Commission with the ability to provide a clear standard by which manipulation could be based on. In fact, the Supreme Court has compared this body of law to, quote, a judicial oak, which has grown from little more than a legislative acorn. The FTC needs to take its new anti-manipulation responsibility seriously and write a strong rule, like FERC has done, so that consumers will be protected from price manipulation. In both the natural gas and oil markets, people have seen how the futures price affect the physical prices. Recent investigations by the Congress and the Government Accountability Office, corroborated by substantial congressional testimony from marketers and experts, make clear that tight correlation between futures and spot price, and that this is what consumers may actually be paying for energy. That is why it is so critical for the Commodities Future Trading Commission to be an aggressive cop on the beat to fulfill its congressional mandate to protect American energy consumers from fraud, manipulation, and excessive speculation in all futures markets that trade U.S. products. We saw Enron game the future to drive future energy prices higher, so electricity customers would be forced to sign higher-priced long-term contracts in the physical market. We saw the same thing with Amaranth and natural gas, as a large hedge fund drove up the price, the futures price, and natural gas customers were forced to pay for even higher physical deliveries. It is abundantly clear to me that the CFTC is not doing everything it can to protect American families and businesses from the possible oil price manipulation. Americans may be surprised to learn that the oil futures market were substantially deregulated by the CFT staff decisions that were made behind closed door. Now this London and Dubai loophole is keeping important U.S. energy trading in the dark. And without proper light, it's this kind of manipulation that can happen and give manipulators free rein in energy markets. 2 weeks ago, I sent a letter to the CFTC along with 21 of my colleagues insisting that they reverse their no-action policy, start policing all U.S. oil markets. I know several of my colleagues on this committee joined me in sending this letter, including Senators Snowe, Dorgan, Kerry, Boxer, Klobuchar, and Claire McCaskill. The CFTC's May 29th apparent response to this letter, I believe, does not go far enough. The CFTC's response is a toothless tiger. There are 4 things wrong with the CFTC approach. First, there is no large speculation limits, which are critical to preventing fraud, manipulation, and excessive speculation. Second, the CFTC will not collect the same information that it collects from other regulated exchanges, and the information will be unaudited and unverifiable. Third, unlike any of the fully regulated exchanges like NYMEX, there will be no enforcement mechanism. And fourth, the CFTC's announcement is an agreement to agree. There are actually no firm commitments, and all of these measures may not even eventually be put in place. So the CFTC announcement appears to be nothing more than a ruse to deflect criticism of what is a serious abdication of oversight responsibility. We look forward to hearing a formal response to our letter insisting on the CFTC to fully regulate all energy trading of U.S. energy commodities and close the London-Dubai oil loophole. If the CFTC does not act, I am planning on introducing legislation that will force them to do so. For those of us who've suffered the manipulations of Enron, we have plenty of perspective to share with the CFTC. We want you to do your job. We expect them to police the oil markets on issues of fraud, manipulation, and excessive speculation, and I hope that today our witnesses can illuminate these issues for the American public and for the consumers that are impacted by these record gasoline prices. Now I'd like to turn to my colleagues to make their opening statements. Senator Dorgan.